we are studying these documents as well. But I think in relation to the issues raised, there are specifically 3 of them that the Commission wishes to make some preliminary statements on. We said preliminary statements because during collation, we haven't had all the time in the world to look at these issues in depth. The first one is that the figures of accredited voters in relation to the votes cast were not adding up in 1 or 2 instances. We have noticed that, and our preliminary investigation and analysis reveals that there are a number of figures that were coming from the field, and we were adding up, and the states were also adding up from 176,000 locations nationwide as polling units and voting points. From there, the figures were added up first at the ward level, for which we have 8,809 nationwide. From there to the local governments, of which you have 774. And then the state declaration or collation centers and the FCT, making a total of 37 before coming up to Abuja. From what we have seen, the disparity cumulatively is actually less than 2%. So it's not that substantial, really. Secondly, we also very strongly believe that the widespread incidence of ballot box snatching, particularly in many areas after voting, means that you have data on the smart card reader, but not backed up by actual ballots, because the ballots were either hijacked, burnt down, or destroyed. And therefore, the information on the card reader is likely to be higher than the actual ballots, meaning the votes cast. But this is only by way of preliminary investigation. Yes, we believe that there have been cancellations. However, in the case of the presidential election, the cancellations do not affect the conclusion of the process. On the number of registered voters, vis-a-vis the figures released by the Commission, yes, we noticed that only in 2 states, Yobe and Akwa Ibom, that the figures actually tallied. But if you look at all the reports from all the state collation officers, they referred to the total number of registered voters as collated. It is always written in bracket, as collated, not necessarily the total figures on the VR, the voter register that we give to the states. So, because, as I said, they are taken from a process, and that process keeps going from one stage to another, sometimes discrepancies of this nature are likely to happen. They happened in all the off-season elections we have conducted. We have seen them. But on the basis of the observations that we have made, we will look at these figures very carefully. They don't affect the total number of persons who voted in the election. They are well below the number of PVCs collected. In fact, the voter turnout for the 2019 general elections, from the analysis we have just concluded, is 35.66%. The national voter turnout, the percentage of national voter turnout. Thirdly, a request was made about opening up the commission's back end so that information from the smart card reader, particularly of accreditation of voters, can be used to verify, cross-check the actual votes cast in the election. And I'm happy to know that the person who made that comment didn't make the request, the comment and the request, as a matter of right under the law. Rather, he made the comments as a matter of openness and transparency. Since the law describes the processes by which results are collected and transmitted, and also the instruments called forms to be used for that purpose, we believe that this is a discussion that can continue after the elections, after the conclusion of this process, because it's not something that should necessarily truncate this process until we're able to determine those issues. Now, if we are to continue to discuss all these issues, we'll continue to discuss them ad infinitum. There's no end to all these issues and all these discussions. So we have taken note of all the observations made. We'll take them into consideration, but for the sake of the process today, I crave your indulgence to go to the main substance of why we are gathered here today. Ladies and you want to make an observation? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. I want to once again start by acknowledging the hard work and the effort that has gone into this process and the need for us to conclude this process in time. And I'm happy we have almost come to the end of it. Mr. Chairman, I have 4 comments to make, and I will sit down. The first one, Mr. Chairman, is that the number, what you just educated us on now, the number of registered voters you published on the 21st of February and the one that was used today for the election has a difference of 1.669 million. It was 84 million on February 21, and today, from what we see as registered voters across the state put together, it came to 82,334,107. So there's a difference of 1,669,000 missing from the voter register. 1,600,000 people are missing from the registered voters. So if you keep that number on one side and go back to the total valid votes cast, which you also explained, particularly, Mr. Chairman, I would like you to note that in Oyo State, 137,000 people are missing from the register. In Imo State, 234,000. In Abia, 139,000. And in Nasarawa, 108,000. Lagos has 256,000. These are the big states. For the total valid votes cast of 27 million and the total invalid votes of 1.2 million, we got a total vote cast of 28 million and a total accreditation of 29 million. So there's a difference of 750,000. And I hear you, it's about 2%. But we'll put that number on a second table. And then we go to the issue, Mr. Chairman, of the cancelled votes. The cancelled votes impacted 2.7 million registered voters. And if you look at the 2.7938196 registered voters that are impacted, the difference in the 1.6 million, the 750,000 and the 2.7 million people that are impacted is about 5.1 million votes. 5.1 million votes is greater than 3.9 million votes. And I want you to note that from your summation, the APC candidate is leading by 3.9 million votes. I also want you to note, Mr. Chairman, that at the fundamental root of this election, what you told us at the beginning of this process was that where there are no card readers verification, that election is null. It doesn't exist. And we have on record many states where there are votes without card readers. So, Mr. Chairman, we ask you to review the votes in Bauchi, in Borno, in Gombe, in Jigawa, and in Katsina. And we have detailed out local governments where this card reader was not used. And it is at the fundamental of this election. And there may be other states. We don't want to go into the details because we are of time. We don't want to bug you with the 36 states. I also think that it is important that when you mentioned that 35% voter turnout in this election, 35% is a fair number. But it is strange to me that some states had 52% voter turnout, 5% in Jigawa, 40% in Yobe. There was a consistent over 40% voter turnout in certain parts of the country. I don't think that it means they may be politically aware, they may be politically more conscious than the rest of the country. But again, it forces us to look again at the issue of the card reader. Because where the card reader was used, there were many issues that made it difficult for large quantity of people to vote. So I want to urge you, Mr. Chairman, that by the explanation I have given, by the numbers I have brought together, showing that there are 5.1 million votes in question here, that you do not go ahead and declare the winner of this election, that you call for a review of these areas and possibly call for a rerun in the areas where there were no use of card readers, which is why we asked you to bring out the data of what your smart card readers say. Our own tabulation tells us that there are only about 23 million votes that possibly went through the card reader. Maximum 24 million, because we told our agents to tabulate for us those where they use card readers. And our tabulation tells us about 24. With the almost 29 million votes at stake, again, another 5 million is in question that we think did not go through the card reader. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like you to give careful consideration to my thoughts. These views are made, as you said, they are preliminary. They are made because we are just gathering this direct from our own situation room. But as we progress, depending on what you decide today, we will be making available more detailed information about this process. But I want to say that the PDP requests you, as their agent, I'm requesting you that, Mr. Chairman, you should not go ahead with announcing a winner for this election. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further comment? If there is no other comment, I will respond. And after responding, we'll then conclude this process. I want to respond in two ways. First, the assertion that there are 5.1 million voters who could not vote and did not vote simply on account of the failure of the smart card reader. And you are right that our guidelines and regulations provide for a repeat elections where card readers fail. And we did so in a number of states. In Abia, for instance, we did so. In Bayelsa, quite a number of local governments had to repeat the elections on Sunday. We did so in several other states. But based on the figures that we have seen of cancelled elections, we have disaggregated and decomposed these figures. I realized that quite a number of those figures are from places where the card reader was deliberately circumvented. Clause 47 of our regulations and guidelines are very clear. Where the corridor is deliberately circumvented, you write a 0 and proceed with the election. So in that case, you can't consider the votes in those areas as truly council votes. Yes, they are council votes, but they're deserved council votes. And before we finalized on the guidelines and regulations, we threw it open to Nigerians. And we received comments and inputs from citizens before finalizing on that. So the figure that you quoted, if it is from the process that took place on Saturday, if you carefully decompose these figures, look at our regulations and guidelines, and look at the provision that where the corridor is deliberately circumvented, enter 0 and proceed, you may not arrive at that figure. Sadly, the Commission has not arrived at that figure. Secondly, you raised issues about places where the voter turnout was 40%, 55%, as again the national average of 35%. 35.6% is the national average. But remember, in these matters, there is no sugar cube equality in terms of participation of citizens in election across the Federation. So in some places you may have 40%, 45%, 50%, but by the time you do the national average, it gives you what we call the national. So the 35.6% is national. If you don't like sugar cube equality, I will say magic cube equality. There is no magic cube equality in this respect. There are other issues that I think, since we are both speaking on the basis of preliminary findings, we better rest this at the level of preliminary findings. The work of making our electoral system robust will not end with the 2019 general elections. In fact, from tomorrow, the Commission will start work on 2023 general elections. So these suggestions will be very, very useful for the future. Having said that, let me come to the issue of the day or of the morning and say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that I have two roles to play under the Nigerian Constitution in relation to the presidential election. First, as the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation, I will announce the national collation of results. What we heard from the 37 collation officers that operated at the level of states and the FCT are collation of election results from the states and the FCT. Now we have to collate this result nationally. And I'm happy to say that it is my privilege to serve the nation in that capacity. Secondly, as the returning officer for the presidential election, I will make a declaration of return of a winner of the election held on Saturday, the 23rd of February, 2019. These are my two roles this morning. Consequently, I will now announce the votes scored by each of the 73 political parties that fielded candidates in the election. And I'm going to start as follows. Total number of registered voters as collated, and I've explained this, as collated is 82,344,107. Number of accredited voters is 29,364,209. The votes scored by each of the 73 political parties that sponsored candidates for the election are as follows. A party, 19,209. A party, 19,209. AA, 14,380. 14,380. AAC, 33,953. 33,953. AAP, 8,902. AAP, 8,902. ABP, 4,523. ABP, 4,523. ACD, 11,325. 11,325. ACPN, 7,223. 7,223. ADC, 97,874. 97,874. ADP, 54,930. ADP, 54,930. AGA, 4,689. AGA, 4,689. AGAP, 3,071. AGAP, 3,071. ANDP, 3,104. 3,104. ANN, 16,779. ANN, 16,779. ANP, 3,586. 3,586. ANRP, 4,340. 4,340. APA, 36,866. 36,866. APC, 15,191,847. 15,191,847. APDA, 26,558. 26,558. APGA, 66,851. APGA, 66,851. APM, 26,039. 26,039. APP, 3,585. 3,585. ASD, 2,146. ASD, 2,146. AUN, 1,092. 1,092. BNPP, 1,649. 1,649. 1,649. CAP 1,111. 1,111. CC 2,391. CC 2,391. CNP 1,874. 1,874. DA 2,769. 2,769. DPC 5,242. 5,242. DPP 14,483. 14,483. Fresh 4,554. 4,554. FJP 4,174. 4,174. GDP 41,852. 41,852. GPN 4,924. 4,924. HDP 1,663. 1,663. ID 1,845. 1,845. JMPP 1,853. 1,853. KP 1,911. 1,911. LM 1,438. 1,438. LP 5,074. LP 5,074. MAJA 2,651. 2,651. MMN 14,540. 14,540. MEN 2,752. 2,752. NAC 2,279. NAC 2,279. NCMP 1,378. 1,378. NCP 3,799. 3,799. NDCP 1,192. NDCP 1,192. NDLP 1,193. 1,588. 1,588. EPP 1,524. 1,524. NFD 4,096. 4,096. NIP 2,248. 2,248. NNPP 6,111. 6,111. NPC 10,081. 10,081. NRM 6,229. 6,229. NUP 5,323. NUP 5,323. PCP 110,196. 110,196. PDP 11,262,978. 11,262,978. PPA 21,822. 21,822. PPC 8,979. 8,979. PPN 4,622. 4,622. PT 2,613. 2,613. RAP 2,972. 2,972. RBNP 1,792. 1,792. RP 2,388. 2,388. SDP 34,746. SDP 34,746. SNC 28,680. 28,680. SNP 3,941. 3,941. UDP 3,170. 3,170. UP 1,561. 1,561. UPN 1,631. 1,631. WTPN 732. 732. YES 2,394. 2,394. YPP 21,000 21,886. 21,886. Total number of valid votes, 27,324,583. Total number of rejected votes, 1,289,607. Total number of votes cast, 28,614,190. I will now fulfill the final part of my role in making the national declaration by moving to the table in front of me to sign the instrument Form EC8DA, which I'll stamp publicly and invite party agents who wish to endorse the form to come forward and do so. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now perform the second part of my role as the returning officer for the 2019 presidential elections. This is the declaration of result of election to the office of President. I, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, hereby certify that I was the returning officer for the presidential election held on the 23rd day of February 2019, that the election was contested, that the candidates received the following votes. Oshitelu Isaac Babatunde of A Party received 19,209 votes. Abdul Rashid Hassan Baba of the AA Party received 14,380 votes. Omoyele Showore of the AAC scored 33,953 votes. Mike Ukegbu of the AAP scored 8,902 votes. Shipi Moses Godia of the ABP scored 4,523 votes. Nwokiafo Ikechukundubuisi of the ACD scored 11,325 votes. Ezekwesili Obiageli Catherine of the ACN scored 7,223 votes. Mailafia Obadia of the ADC scored 97,874 votes. Yabagi Sani Yusuf of the ADP scored 54,930 votes. Nwachuku Chuks Nwabuiku of AGA Party scored 4,689 votes. Chief Umenwa Godwin of the AGAP scored 3,071 votes. Obaje Yusuf Ame of ANDP scored 3,104 votes. Durotoye Adetokumbo Olufela of the ANN scored 16,779 votes. Shitu Moshud Ashwaju of the ANP scored 3,586 votes. Fashua Tope Kolade of the ANRP scored 4,340 votes. Ibrahim Aliu Hassan of the APA scored 36,866 votes. Buhari Muhammadu of the APC scored 15,191,847 votes. Shitu Mohammed Kabir of APDA scored 26,558 votes. Bo John Wilson of APGA scored 66,851 votes. Yusuf Mamman Dantalle of the APM scored 26,039 votes. Obinna Uchechukwu Ikiagwonu of the APP scored 3,585 votes. Dara John of the ASD scored 2,146 votes. Angela Johnson of the AUN scored 1,092 votes. David Esosa Izeyamu of the BNPP scored 1,649 votes. Abba Lewis Elaigu of the CAP scored 1,111 votes. Ojinika Jeff Chizie of the CC scored 2,391 votes. Etim Emmanuel Ishe of the CNP scored 1,874. Ukonga Frank of the DA scored 2,769. Aoshola Williams Olushola of the DPC scored 5,242 votes. Osakwe Felix Johnson of the DPP scored 14,483 votes. Okoti Christopher of Fresh scored 4,554 votes. Reverend Dr. Onwubua, 4,174 votes. Akimen Davidson Isibo of the GDPN scored 41,854 votes. Eke Samuel Chukuma of the GPN scored 4,924 votes. Albert Ouru Ambrose of the HDP scored 1,663 votes. Madu Namdi Edozie of the ID scored 1,845 votes. Chuku Eguzolugo Sunday Chikendu of the JMPP scored 1,855 votes. Fagbenro Byron Samuel Additional of the KP scored 1,911 votes. Chris David of the LM scored 1,438 votes. Mohammed Usman Zaki of the LP scored 5,074 votes. Adesanya Davis Masi Olafumilayo of the MAJA party scored 2,651 votes. Bashai Isa Dansariki of the MMN scored 14,540 votes. Santuraki Hamisu of the MPN scored 2,752 votes. Rabia Yasser Hassan Chengiz of the NAC scored 2,279 votes. Ademola Babatunde Abidemi of the NCMP scored 1,378 votes. Salisu Hassan Tanko, Salisu Yunusa Tanko of the NCP scored 3,799 votes. Edosomwan Johnson of the NDCP scored 1,192 votes. Apua Robinson of the NDLP scored 1,588 votes. Ishaka Paul Ofe Mile of the NEPP scored 1,524 votes. Dr. Asuko Mendi Achibong of the NFD scored 4,096 votes. Atwejide Eunice Uche Julian of the NIP scored 2,248 votes. Ike Keke of the NNPP scored 6,111 votes. Maina Maimuna Kyari of the NPC scored 10,081 votes. Ibrahim Usman Alhaji of the NRM scored 6,229 votes. Moses Aibiowu of the NUP scored 5,323 votes. Felix Nicholas of the PCP scored 110,196 votes. Abubakar Atiku of the PDP scored 11,262,978 votes. Ame Peter Ajonugwa of the PPA scored 21,822 votes. Victor Ohai of the PPC scored 8,979. Major Hamza Al-Mustafa of the PPN scored 4,622 votes. Benga Olawepo Hashim of the PT scored 2,613 votes. Israel Nonyerem Davidson of the RAP scored 2,972. Oswala Chukudi John Kennedy of the RBNP scored 1,792 votes. Nsehe Nseobong of the RP scored 2,388 votes. Donald Duke of the SDP scored 34,746 votes. Da Silva Thomas Ayo of the NSNC scored 28,680 votes. Ahmed Buhari of the SNP scored 3,941 votes. Balogun Isiaka Ishola of the UDP scored 3,170 votes. Mark Emmanuel Audu of the UP scored 1,561 votes. Inwa Ahmed Sakil of the UPN scored 1,631 votes. Nwangu Uchenna Peter of WTPN scored 732 votes. Ali Shoede of the Yes Party scored 2,394. Mogalu Kingsley Bosa Chedu of the YPP scored 21,886 votes. that Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
Can we be seated, please? Can we be seated, please? The ceremony is not over yet.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, in fulfillment of the requirements of the Electoral Act, which says that a certificate of return shall be issued not less than 7 days to the declaration of winner, I hereby announce that the certificate of return will be issued to the President-elect and the Vice President-elect at 2 p.m. tomorrow in this hall. Sorry, at 2 p.m. today in this very hall. Thank you and good morning. That brings the 2019 presidential collation of results closed. For party leaders who wish to sign the two instruments, EC8D as well as the EC8E, should do so, but only one representative of a party. Okay. You are going to sign the EC8DA, and you will be guided accordingly by Professor Kuna while we retrieve. Yeah. Thank you.
The chairman closed it.
Well, distinguished party agents, I think it's neater if you just take your seats and we'll call you alphabetically to come and sign. We'll call you alphabetically to come and sign. So, Professor Kuna.
Accord, Party A, please. Accord, any representative from Accord? Where are you? AA, please get ready.
History is again being made. This is a consolidation from 2015. Inec has done it again from 2015 to 2019, another declaration. Professor Muhammadu Yakubu, around exactly 20 minutes to 5:40 a.m., declared President Muhammadu Buhari winner of the 2019 presidential elections, having scored and returned with a total votes of 15,191,846 votes. on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. His closest rival, the PDP candidate, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, scored 11,262,978.